this is Taylor, and today I just thought it would be interesting to sit down and chat about how exactly working in a library has changed my reading habits. Some of the changes you would probably expect to come from spending almost every day in a library environment, but some of them you might not. So for those who may not know, I am a library page in my town's public library system, and I have been for probably over 3.5 years. That is insane. Basically, my main responsibility has been to put back recently returned items and to help direct patrons to the items that they're looking for. But I do now also have some other responsibilities that will come into play in a moment. So the first thing that working in the library has changed about my reading habits is definitely the most obvious one. I read a lot more. Granted, I think I did get into booktube around the same time that I started working at the library, which also obviously super boosted my reading habits. But regardless of the exact cause, I read so much more than I did in high school or the beginning of college. I've always been a reader, but until I started working at the library, it was never as structured or disciplined as it is now. And I'm far from saying that I am the most disciplined reader that I can be, but I'm so much more satisfied with the amount that I read now. And this is due to a number of things, I think. First off, I just obviously have a lot more inspiration because I'm surrounded by books every day, and I just personally get excited about reading whenever I'm at work. But also many of the librarians that I work with are extremely disciplined readers, like the 120, 150 books a year type of readers, and that obviously pushes me to also read as much as I can. The second way that the library has changed my reading habits is that I buy a lot more books, which on a surface level does not make any sense whatsoever. But I'm just someone who likes to own books. I really prefer to own almost everything that I read. I love cultivating a personal collection and having them on hand to lend out or to reread. And if you're the type of person who also likes to own most of the books that you read, then you know exactly where I'm coming from. So because I'm reading more, I'm also buying more, and I'm buying more because, again, I'm surrounded by books, and almost every day I see a new title that interests me at least a little bit. But this has also been kicked up even more because my role in the library has shifted a little bit. At the moment, the most important aspect of my job is to place orders from publishers. Every new release that comes out, every replacement copy, duplicate copy, all of those are input into the system by me. I receive publishing catalogs and library publications from my supervisors, patron and staff requests. I read through them and I input them all into the online ordering system that we use. So basically with that newer job requirement, I am super hyper aware currently of all of the materials coming into the library, which I do want to say is so cool. It's my favorite part of my job right now. But of course that means that I am basically exposed to the publishing world 24/7, and I just get super hyped about books and new releases, and I come home at the end of the day and just add things to my Amazon wishlist. Which leads me right into my third point, which is that I do read a lot more new releases, especially recently. This newer aspect of my job has really shifted my attention and my focus to new releases, and right now I'm actually loving it. I have like a running calendar of publishing dates and things that I'm keeping an eye on, and my personal pre-orders, and I think that that excitement is largely due to my exposure to upcoming releases. And like I said, I'm not mad about it at all. I'm super motivated to keep up with the new releases, and I'll take all the motivation I can get. The fourth thing that working in the library has changed about my reading habits is that I also do read a little bit more outside of my comfort zone. Although I don't know if it's my comfort zone so much as like my perceived interest zone. What I really mean is I'm reading different books based on coworkers' recommendations. There's definitely a couple of books I've read in the past few years that I would have never picked up if not for my coworkers' suggestions. A great example is The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. This is a book about an orphan who plays chess, and that's exactly how this book was pitched to me, and I was like, I'm not really interested in that. But at the insistence of my supervisor, I ended up reading this, and I actually really enjoyed it. A book that I would have never given a second thought to without the sway of the library. And number 5, my last habit is pretty simple. I listen to audiobooks a lot more. So granted, audiobooks are definitely not the best reading method for me because I'm truly awful at processing auditory information. So I usually listen to an audiobook in conjunction with the physical book, and I use the audio to kind of keep me focused and propel me through. And I'm doing this a lot more now that I have access to thousands of free audiobooks because, yeah, of course. For me, utilizing an audiobook will usually cut my reading time in half. So our audiobook collection and our library consortium is something that I've ended up being very grateful for. So that's it. I hope this was vaguely interesting to you. I just love working in a library, and I'm so happy that my work has had such an impact on my reading life. So I hope you're having a great day. Happy reading, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!